Peace and blessings, family. Welcome to my TikTok podcast. Today we are going to be talking about New York Times, The Post, CNN, ABC, and 60 Minutes. Today we will be discussing the recent news stories from the world of journalism, politics, and current events. Let's go. These news stories have been picked because of their importance and impact on society. Firstly, let's talk about the New York Times, Post, and CNN. Three major news outlets recently came under fire for their coverage of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. The outlets were accused of manipulating their news coverage to benefit certain candidates and parties. This controversy has led to a heated debate about the role of journalism in today's society. Secondly, let's discuss the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has had a significant impact on the world, affecting every aspect of life. Governments around the world have implemented various measures to control the spread of the virus, including lockdowns and social distances. All of these guidelines to stop the ongoing of COVID. Lastly, let's look at the ongoing protests and unrest.
All right, let's go on the record with 23 SC 188947. Who do we have as lead counsel for the state today?
Good afternoon, Judge Nathan Wade, Special Prosecutor for the state. Here present at the council table with me, I have Executive District Attorney Daisha Young, Deputy District Attorney Will Wooten, and Special Prosecutor John Floyd.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wade. And for Mr. Chesbrough, who's...
With all of this being said, family, a lot of us still depend on the media. A lot of us don't know where else to go to get our news. But we have become so dependent on getting our news from someone else that we don't check out where the news is going or getting their information from in the first place. We have so many different media outlets in the United States. In some kind of way, the United States allows foreign media to be displayed here in the United States. One country gets the news this way, while that same story is being spread a whole entirely different way. This is what causes division between two people. When one thinks the reality is this way, but in reality, the reality is truly a whole entirely different way. People defend their reality, and some people will even go to the extent to lay down their life for their reality. But the reality is that reality has been given to us by a people who created a reality for us.
My name is Scott Grubman. I'm representing Mr. Chesbrough, and with me I have co-counsel Manny Aurora.
All right, and Mr. Grubman, have you received express authority to waive your client's presence today? All right. And who do we have for Ms. Powell?
Brian Rafferty on behalf of Ms. Powell, Your Honor, and I have received express permission to waive her appearance.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so just a few preliminary thoughts before we kick things off. To be clear, the scheduling order we entered for Mr. Chesbrough earlier last week didn't contain any kind of a ruling on severance. So the plan would be to try to resolve as many of these issues as we can this week and to begin entering scheduling orders for the remaining defendants by either the end of this week or the early next week. So with that, is there anything else we should take up before diving into argument, Mr. Wade?
Judge, the court had asked the state to be prepared to respond in its notice of the hearing, asked the state to be prepared to respond to a certain questions, a good faith estimate in terms of time, how many witnesses, and so forth. We're prepared to do that if the court would like.
Okay, well, let's do that during your argument in response after we hear from defense on their motions. Okay, so I think just taking it alphabetically, there were two motions we'd scheduled to be heard today from Mr. Chesbrough. So, Mr. Grubman, floor is yours, and I think the idea would be to try to limit this to 20 to 30 minutes. We'll see where the discussion takes us and go from there.
Would Your Honor, would it be acceptable for Your Honor if me and my co-counsel, Mr. Aurora, there's kind of a natural split? I'd like to talk about the kind of groups of facts that will go to both of our motions, both the motion to sever counts and the motion to sever from Ms. Powell. I believe the court indicated you would want to hear arguments on both. And then Mr. Aurora will talk more specifically about the statutory factors, if that's okay with Your Honor. And it won't take we won't take up more time than any one of us would have.
Okay.
Trust media when they twist it up in the way that they want it to go and make people say and do what they want them to say. This is why more of us should be a part of trying to start our own media coverage.
Tonight, Fulton County District Attorney FANI Willis is making moves to try and protect jurors' identity in the upcoming election interference trial. Her office filed a motion today to block jurors' names from being released to the press, to defendants in the case, or anyone else. The motion says that following the release of the indictment, people on conspiracy theory websites shared a list of the 23 grand jurors with full names, ages, and addresses with the intent to harass and intimidate them. Willis says future jurors could be put in danger if their names are made public.